having these symptoms, and I'm talking about kind of cold type symptoms, the sniffles, the runny nose, sore throat, the cough especially, you know what that's a sign of? It's a sign that my immune system, mine, Jim Burrell's immune system.
Hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community.
Hey, Transplant Helper community, my name is Jim Burrell, and today I just want to pause for just a moment and give you 3 reasons why I absolutely love having a bad day. Now, you probably assumed already that I would probably say I love good days, and I do. I appreciate the days when I have energy and stamina. I'm able to accomplish certain things throughout the day. That's really, really rewarding, especially in light of the fact that I, like many of you, can attribute that reward to actually having that organ transplant. And without it, there's no doubt there would be no good days. They would all be bad if they even still existed. It's a life or death position for most of us. For me, it eventually probably would have been, but nonetheless, I received a transplant, so I do appreciate good days. But there are certain reasons why I appreciate the bad days just as much. Now, some of these reasons I'll give like in the very beginning. You'll probably say, yeah, I knew you were going there. By the end of this, I'll probably give you a reason that you just wasn't really thinking about. Maybe it kind of catches you off guard, but I promise you it's probably going to be the main reason why I appreciate bad days. So with that said, let's just jump right in. Number 1, I appreciate bad days because they allow me to see the good days for what they really are. As I like to say, if every day was just hunky-dory, if it was perfect, it was exactly what you aligned it out to be or thought it might be, dreamt it might be, you may not ever appreciate those days as much. You may get to a point where things just get monotonous, where it's just kind of the same old same, and even though it's good, you never really appreciate it for what it is. And oftentimes in life, we do that. We take things for granted, especially the good things in life. Oftentimes, we'll take them for granted, whether it's our own experiences, our health, whether it's our relationships, whatever. If something is average and normal all the time, or even above average and normal all the time, it's too easy for us to take it for granted and just not to appreciate it for what it is. So by having a bad day, that really makes me take a step back and say, wow, the days I had yesterday and the day before and the day I hope to have tomorrow, I'm really going to grasp. I'm going to take hold of. I'm going to fulfill my life with those days. And so I appreciate the bad day because it brings the good days into perspective, more or less. Now, number 2, and this is probably another reason you may have kind of guessed in this, is that I appreciate the bad days because it is the bad days that allow me to share with you most often. Now, I get it. We like to share our good experiences. As a matter of fact, on some platforms of social media, something like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is a big one. Pretty much all you ever see from anyone are the good experiences, And if I came on YouTube every day and said, hey, guess what, folks? I ran 10 miles, which I haven't. I've never done that. But if I said, hey, I ran 10 miles, I was able to be in a marathon, a triathlon. I was able to run and play with my kids and just go on and on about all my great things that have occurred since transplant. I will be telling you the truth in some cases. Some I've not accomplished, like the 10-mile run yet. But, that would be great. And you might cheer me on for a day or two. But eventually you would say, hey, Jim, are you a real person? Are you actually a transplant patient? Why is everything so perfect for you? And then you might be looking at me saying, why are my days not that great? Why am I not having those wonderful experiences? Well, the truth is, I think we're more alike than most expect. And that is, I have good days, just like you do, but I also have bad days. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. And I don't think for a moment that takes away from our lives. It doesn't take away from our experience. It doesn't take away from the appreciation, the reward, the gratefulness that we feel toward our donor and their families just because we have a bad day. And I've said many a times, it is always okay to have that bad day. It's okay to admit to ourselves that not every day is going to be perfect. There are going to be problems and difficulties, troubles, trials. And so just swallow our pride. Say, look, it's a bad day, but use that in our minds, especially in our emotions, the way that we think and our attitudes. Use that to say to ourselves, you know what? I have a life much like other people's, and my life is a life of admitting that I have a bad day. So why do I hate bad days, or why do I love bad days? I said that backwards already. Why do I actually love bad days? Well, number 1, I love them because it shows me the good days, how they really are, puts it in perspective. Number 2, I love bad days because it's the bad days that I can share with you about. When I can tell you that this is the problem I've had, here's how we deal with it, Okay, so that's 2 reasons. Now, number 3, this might be the strange one to you, but I'll be honest with you. To me, this is one that just kind of hit me the other day. I was having a bad day. I was kind of down in the dumps. I was kind of, a little bit depressed, and it hit me. You know what? This is what's really happening. And what was occurring back that day, just a few days ago, and it's still kind of going on. I'm fighting it right now. I was kind of beginning to get the seasonal allergies, which I get every year, which I never look forward to, which I always say, that cough, the sore throat in the mornings, especially from the drainage, the, stuffy or runny nose. I hate that stuff. And so I was thinking, here it is, this is going to be a bad day, or maybe a bad series of days or weeks, that go together. And I thought to myself, you know what this is a sign of? Having these symptoms, and I'm talking about kind of cold type symptoms, the sniffles, the runny nose, sore throat, the cough especially. You know what that's a sign of? It's a sign that my immune system, mine, Jim Burrell's immune system, is actually working. We go through the transplant process, and the first thing that they do to you right after your surgery, and really even before, I know I got a pre-immune suppressant dose hours before my surgery. One of the first things they attempt to do to you is to pretty much flatten your immune system, to take it away. And they're doing that to keep you from fighting off the new organ, from rejecting the new organ with that same immune system. And oftentimes that puts us at very high risk to catch the common cold, to catch the flu, to catch the viruses. And that's terrible when that happens. Don't misunderstand me. But then I got a little farther out, and as my immune system started to be restored and kind of rework and reset itself, I started noticing I'm not getting sick as often. But when I do get sick, instead of having a bad attitude toward that, I'm not talking about going in rejection. I'm not talking about something that's life and death. I'm talking about an inconvenience here, a cough, a sniffle. When that is occurring, that is a sign that my immune system is working. It's actually doing what it was supposed to do. And so, the cough, the sneeze, both are the case for the cough and the sneeze. That's just your body reacting to something that's going on and trying to get it out, trying to rid your body of the bad stuff. I would be in more danger if I were just laying on the couch, not feeling well, no symptoms, no cough, no sneezing, no sore throat, no fevers. I would be in much graver danger being immune suppressed with no symptoms than I am with the symptoms. My body is doing its job. So I think I'm going to reshift. I'm going to change my perspective. I'm going to reset my mind. I'm going to start saying, Jim, still be aware of your body. Still know your body. Still, call your team when you see it appropriate. All that still applies. But when you're actually having one of those days where you just don't feel good, where you're having symptoms like I'm naming, say, hey, I appreciate it. I'm thankful that I'm having the bad day. I appreciate you joining me today. Until next time, each of you, stay stronger, friends.